and we have all the proof of this. I have the actual physical proof of it. To take the first American show to go to Japan. A variety show.
This was, what year was this?
I was 1930.
Pre-World War II.
Oh yeah, pre-World War II. And while he was there, the war broke out between China and Japan. So he came back. Now I would like to show it on the camera because not very many people have seen it, was a watch that the Emperor of Japan gave my father. It's one of a kind. It's beautiful. It's one of a kind. Not ostentatious, extremely good taste, but whatever. Anyway, they came back. So then my father became for the lack of another phrase, the agent or the representative for the the pan time. He would pick the axe and they would go on and do it on and so forth. As he did that, he became bigger. His name in Hollywood became bigger. Eventually, my father became a head of the AGVA, it's the Agents Association, and he was president of that for 6 years running. So every agent that book an act in any nightclub or just like the movies and television, once you're in the union, you're in. And my father was ahead of that. It's bad to call it a union because it was more of a Hollywood wasn't then what it is today. And but you had to be an AGVA member to work on certain nightclubs, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, through that, then comes the names that I've just read to you, and many more in and out.
So how did he find Sammy Davis Jr.?
All right, when Sammy got out of the Army, the Second World War, that story in itself is a whole TV show. When he got out,
Give me just like a brief Sammy. Tell me about what Sammy did in the Army, in 2 sentences, and then and it's hard, a real summary. And
they pulled a young black boy from Harlem and put him in the White Army of the United States, and you can imagine, or anybody can imagine, what they did to him. Beer, peeing in the beer, et cetera, and Sammy doesn't drink. At any rate. One of the sergeants pulled Sammy into special services, exactly where he should have gone. Sammy would then become a performer, and that's where he was performing. Now, during the course of my father's tour on stage, back in the vaudeville days, he became friendly with Will Maston, Sammy's uncle. All right, that was way before. Now a lot of time has passed. So, when Sammy got out of the Army, he came to Hollywood. And Will, if I ever call him Massey, that's who I'm talking about. I'm so used to the familiar name. He went to my father to represent them, the dance act. That's all he did was dance.
So they were in the special services in the military, Sammy and
yeah.
And he had met your father while your father was on tour with.
Not quite right.
Okay.
Well, Sammy was in the Army. The trio wasn't in the Army. Sammy was in the Army. When Sammy got out, his father and his uncle were here in Hollywood. And Will Maston, because of the friendship with him from the vaudeville days, Will Maston took themselves to my father to represent the dance act, the Will Maston Trio. And that's where it started. That's how that started.
And what year was that? And how old was Sammy?
I have to go back in my mind. I have all these official times and documents if we need them, but at any rate, I was around 17 years old. That would be 1930. Well, I was born in 31. If you want to back figure it, go ahead, because I'm not. But anyway, I was around when I was in high school. Okay, I was in my junior year in high school. Is when I met Sammy. Remember, I told you that I hung out with my father constantly all my life.
So you told me off camera. So tell me a little bit how, you and your father, what you and your father's relationship was.
The relationship I got started with Sammy and the Will Master Trio started long before that. It started